Today on our show, the one and only Jennifer Hudson shuts down Meghan Markle. After a heated argument, live on TV. Stay tuned. It was a Tuesday, like any other. The stage of the Ellen DeGeneres show glistened under its array of lights. Then appeared Jennifer Hudson. Her rich caramel skin shone, her smile radiating pure joy. She was in her element. The studio was soon filled with the roar of applause. But it was what happened next that changed everything. One person sauntered onto the stage, a figure both familiar and controversial. It was Meghan Markle. She radiated poise, a touch of arrogance, and a whole lot of attitude. The audience clapped politely, curious to see where this meeting of icons would lead. As they settled into their seats, Jennifer leaned in, her smile never wavering. "Meghan, welcome! Thank you for coming." "Thank you, Jennifer," Meghan replied suavely. "I'm glad to be here." And with that, the cameras rolled, capturing a conversation that would soon turn stormy. Jennifer started off the conversation gently. "So, Meghan," she asked softly, "how has it been getting used to life over here in the States? I know it has to be pretty different from London." Meghan laughed lightly. "Is that your way of saying I wasn't welcome there?" The audience laughed awkwardly, not certain whether it was a joke or a pointed barb.
Jennifer blinked hard, her smile constricting.
"Oh no, not at all. I simply meant that it's a giant cultural change, right? Transitioning from one nation to another." Meghan uncrossed and crossed her legs, her voice cooling. "Life itself is a cultural transition, wherever you are. I don't identify with geography. If others want to identify me with whether or not I was accepted somewhere, that says more about them than me." Jennifer nodded, maintaining her composure. "I understand. I suppose a lot of our viewers just wanted to know how the transition felt for you, personally." Meghan cocked her head slightly. Personally, I've managed just fine. I don't spend my life second-guessing other people. That wears you out." Some of us learn to let go. A tense lull fell over the room. Jennifer looked at the camera, adjusted the material of her dress, and attempted to move the conversation along. "Very well, then," she replied with a beaming smile. "Let's discuss your domestic life. Everyone is always curious, how are you and Prince Harry? How does married life with the children treat you?" The audience leaned forward in anticipation. Meghan's eyes narrowed ever so slightly. "Marriage is great," she replied curtly. "But I think it's interesting the way that people get fixated on rumors. Harry and I don't have to explain our marriage. Not to tabloids, not to anyone." "Really, Jennifer? I'm surprised you'd even suggest it. Hasn't the rumor been belabored to death already?" The studio atmosphere changed once more, the room growing cooler. Jennifer took a breath, maintaining a steady tone. "I didn't say it as gossip.
Meghan, our audience just eats up hearing about family life. That's all."
Meghan leaned back, her body tense.
"Well, you can tell them we're fine as rain."
"They don't need to read into every sensationalized headline." Jennifer blinked, momentarily thrown, but she recovered swiftly. "Fair enough. I respect that." Bending through her cue cards, she looked for safer terrain. "Now, let's talk about your career. You've had such a fabulous path from acting to being a duchess to establishing your foundation. Looking back, what do you miss most about your acting career?" Meghan's lips finally broke into a wry smile for the first time. "Miss? I don't miss anything about it. Acting was a chapter, a stepping stone. But when people ask that, it always feels like they're trying to remind me of a time before my life really mattered. Acting was fine, but my impact now is far greater." Jennifer blinked, taken aback. She covered quickly, laughing. "I didn't mean to downplay what you're doing now. Your fans adored your work. That's all." "Fans adore many things," Meghan snapped back. "That doesn't obligate me to revisit them. I've moved beyond that phase of my life." The air grew heavy with tension. Jennifer persisted, tactful but relentless. "Okay then, let's talk about your foundation. What sort of legacy do you want to leave behind?" Meghan's smile hardened. "Legacy is more than ribbon cuttings or photo opportunities. It's redefining what matters most. And honestly, I think many people, institutions, media, even countries don't feel at ease with me because I don't play by their old script. And if some can't deal with that, that's not my problem. That's theirs. The room fell into stunned silence. In some control room corner, a producer silently mouthed, "This is going to get good." And it was only the start. When the show came back on after a commercial, the applause light flashed, but the mood in the room was no longer laid. Meghan Markle appeared on Jennifer Hudson's show, but things took a wild turn during the heated argument. Here's everything you need to know. The studio lights seemed to shine more intensely, as if emphasizing the tension. Meghan's mouth compressed into a line, eyes narrowing. Jennifer leaned forward, hands gripped tightly, smile erased, now replaced by one of steel. "All right, Meghan," she said, her voice measured but firm. "Step back."
People have seen your journey from Hollywood to the palace to here today.
They've heard your story through documentaries, interviews, books, but some feel that the story keeps changing. What do you say to those who think you've altered your story over time? The audience hunched over, anticipating where this question might spark the moment that would encapsulate the entire interview. The audience leaned forward, holding their breath as they awaited Meghan's response. She cocked her head, her voice cold and dismissive. "I just say they were too caught up in analyzing me rather than keeping an eye on the bigger picture. I owe no one consistency, given that my lived experience has been complicated. If individuals desire a tidy little narrative, perhaps they can stick with fairy tales rather than mine."
Gasps ran across the room. Silence broken by whispers.
Jennifer arched her brows, her tolerance wearing thin. "Fair enough," she replied calmly. "But surely you see why people get confused. You've spoken one way in one interview, and something else afterwards." Meghan interrupted her, her eyes flashing. "Oh, so now you're accusing me of being dishonest?" Jennifer's lips compressed into a taut line.
Not lying. Confused. And since you're here, on my show, I believe I have the right to determine what's real and what's not.
For the first time, Meghan's warmth disappeared entirely. She leaned forward, her voice cutting his glass.
Jennifer, let me explain something.
When you've lived under constant attack from the press, from the institution, from people twisting everything you say, you learn that truth isn't about timelines or details. It's about survival. And if people can't understand that, that's on them. Jennifer didn't flinch. Her posture tightened, her voice steady. "I understand you, but let me tell you something. Too, when you get people to believe in you, when you create projects based on your narrative, they are going to have questions. That is not an attack. That is called accountability." The crowd erupted into spontaneous applause, the sound piercing the thick air. Meghan's jaw tightened. She leaned back, her voice icy. "Accountability? You want to discuss accountability? How about the accountability of a media juggernaut making money off my misery? Or of individuals faking concern while actually pursuing ratings?" Jennifer's composure broke. Her tone fell to a low, even but sharp Asuni. "With all due respect, Meghan, don't come on my show and accuse me of pursuing ratings. I created this show to inspire people, to provide them room to tell their truth. If you can't be direct with questions, perhaps interviews aren't for you." The studio exploded cheers and applause, filling the room. Meghan's eyes flashed, her face darkening. She shook her head, laughing scornfully. "Ah, I see. The applause lines. The gotcha moment. Bravissima, Jennifer. You've added your name to the list of folks who believe they can cut me down to size with a headline." Jennifer shot up from her seat, slamming her palms on the table. "Don't try to diminish my accomplishments. Meghan, my show is respected. You may not want to answer questions, but don't blame me for it." Thunderous applause echoed through the studio.
Meghan turned away, her jaw set, her hands shaking slightly as she fought to keep her temper in check.
The atmosphere was thick, more like a courtroom confrontation than a daytime television show. Across from her, Jennifer's warmth was replaced with chilly defiance. Her eyes stared into Meghan's, never blinking. The audience was holding its collective breath, feeling that the most volatile moment was yet to be shared. Jennifer leaned forward, her voice cutting through the silence. You know, Meghan, I've tried. I've made room for you to tell me your story. I've shown respect for your privacy where I was able to. But every time I ask a question, you turn it into an insult. Every opportunity for connection, you turn it into an attack. So let's stop pretending. Meghan blinked, her lips falling open in shock. Playing pretend? Are you actually asking my responses are legitimate just because they not what you want to hear? Jennifer narrowed her eyes, her voice angry but managed. No, Meghan. I'm saying your responses are performances thoughtfully staged to portray you as the victim in every single situation. You speak of authenticity, but every word you've uttered today is dripping in disdain for the press, disdain for the audience, and even for me sitting here in front of you. Gasps echoed through the studio. Meghan's face turned red with embarrassment. She opened her mouth to reply, but Jennifer didn't let her get the opportunity. You want the truth? Jennifer's voice blazed. Here it is. You're not a royal. You're not a leader. You're not the voice for the voiceless.
You someone who married into a famous family and thought the world would bow at your feet.
And when it didn't, too weaponized her pain and called it a platform. The crowd gasped openly, hands shooting up to mouths. Meghan's calm shattered. She leaned forward, her eyes glassy, lips quivering. How dare you? She whispered, her voice shaking. Jennifer kept going, unforgiving. You tell us you've moved on yet. Every word pulls the royal family back into the fray. You tell us you desire privacy yet. You write checks to share your life with millions. And let's be honest, Meghan, the only reason you were standing where you were. Jennifer's words froze in mid-sentence, as the studio held its breath, because everyone in the room knew that whatever was coming next might destroy Meghan's carefully constructed persona once and for all. Jennifer's words cut like a blade. The only reason this audience even cares, Meghan, is because of Harry's last name. Without him, without that crown, you'd just be another actress with a resume nobody remembered. The impact was instant. Meghan's defenses crumbled, her composure shattered. Tears welled in her eyes and spilled before she could stop them. She shook her head furiously, desperate to hold herself together. You don't know me, she cried, her voice breaking. You don't know what I've sacrificed. Jennifer's tone softened slightly, but the